Meet Candace and Tucker. They're African dwarf frogs that were not on my bingo card for this tank when I was building it. But here we are. So join me on today's episode where we can learn together through my mistakes on what it takes to build a fish tank from start to finish. So pretty much everything that I'll be using on this build is right here, and probably a couple little extra things. So to start off, we're going to be using some ADA Nature Aquarium La Plata Sand. It looks so nice. I'll also be using some Contrasound by UN Systems. They got some really nice pieces of gravel. We also have some nice wood here. I also have a light to be able to put on top of the aquarium. That we'll put together. And I also got these cool little ceramic things. I haven't used them yet, but you can put a little plant in it, and I thought it would look kind of cool. So yeah, so I'll also be using this window film. It's basically, you use it to give yourself, it's like a privacy screen on your window. So I thought that would be cool to put on the back of the aquarium. So yeah, I feel like that is a nice little setup for us here. Since I'd like to think that I learned from my mistakes, this is one of those times. So I decided that I didn't want to do a million water changes this time, and I'm going to boil my wood beforehand. So what happens is that this wood releases something called tannins, which, just like you can see in the water here, it basically turns your water to something that kind of looks like dark tea. So to avoid this, I boiled my wood at least 3 times, clearing out the water each time. Thanks to a lovely lady on Facebook Marketplace, I got this super cute little Nano aquarium. The sizing of it is 14 inches in length, which is about 30.5 centimeters, 9.5 inches in height, which is about 25 centimeters, and 7.5 inches in width, which is about 19 centimeters. But yeah, I think she's super cute. I just love the rounded corners in the front, and I like how it squares off in the back. I think it gives it a bit of a different look from a classic aquarium. Now, if you've watched any of my previous videos, you'll already know how obsessed I am with these lights. Maybe they'll sponsor me eventually, because I just keep buying more anyway. No other light I've gotten, and I've gone through my fair share by now, has gotten plants to grow like they have, like noticeably. Anyway, do what you will, but if you want your plants to grow, this is the light that hasn't failed me yet. I've also seen a ton of people use the privacy window film on the back of their tanks and thought I'd give it a try. How hard could it be, right? Turns out it's actually pretty easy. Once I actually read the instructions, that is. LOL. Anyway, just make sure you place the film the right way on the glass. Small details go a long way, apparently. This also would have been a breeze if I didn't misplace my razors or even bother to look for an X-Acto knife or something. But I'm impatient, and I'm more of a let's just get her done kind of person. So here we are, scissors did the job just fine. Oh look, perfect timing, the wood's ready. But what wood isn't? Alright, the game plan here is pretty simple. I'm gonna try to turn this into a snake. I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna wrap it yet, and as you can tell, I kind of have an idea of how I want to put it in, but yeah, here we go. Alright, so here we go. I put the head in, but I didn't press record on the camera. So yeah, so this is nicely attached together. To cover it up, I used some potting soil actually to cover up the glue. And now we need to do these guys here. So this part is gonna be the trickier part, but I'm thinking this. There we go. Yeah, so we definitely need to glue these things together. All right, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start off with gluing these things so we can get rid of this little clip. Okay, so for this build, I'm definitely gonna need some glue. So I just ordered some glue off of Amazon, but it's really nice. So it's actually meant for wood, so that's kind of cool. It also has these little attachments here that I really like. That way you can be a little bit more precise with what you're doing. I also got some cotton pads here to be able to glue it well together this time, because I'm not sure if you guys watched in my past videos, but I've definitely had a little bit of issues with my wood floating up. So let's avoid that at all costs this time. So yeah, let's get gluing. So first I'm gonna get all of my cotton pads ready here. Okie dokie, this is gonna be a little tricky here. We gotta try to get this at the right angle, but this kind of fits together, which is nice. So let's see how we're gonna do this. That, and then where did those pieces go here? While you watch me reliving my elementary school arts and crafts day and struggle with it, glue is hard, by the way, especially super glue. I just wanted to throw out there that if I can do it, anyone can. I'd also like to thank everyone who has subscribed and liked and shared my videos. Welcome in, welcome in. I've never had a YouTube channel, so when I started this, I was absolutely terrified. But with the outpouring of support and all my wonderful new subscribers, they're genuinely making my tough life situation that much easier. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but being stuck at home after a car accident doesn't leave you with a ton of options, especially for enjoyable hobbies. And I just want to encourage anyone watching this that's stuck at home or is feeling down to give this a try. No matter what age you are, everyone loves staring into a beautiful fish tank. So for my sand, I'll be using the ADA Nature Aquarium La Plata Sand. It is a premium sand and it does come at a premium cost. But I'll be honest, it looks amazing when it's wet, especially compared to regular sands from a regular pet store. So I'm really excited about using this one. So this is all so that the rocks stay put here. So next, we're gonna get our snazzy little media bag and we're gonna do what we did on our last video. We're gonna fill it with some volcanic stone. There we go. You know, I actually even think that might be a little bit too much. I think I'd rather have a little bit more soil in here. We're gonna grab our soil. These ones have the smaller little pieces than the regular soil, which is gonna be really nice. It was in fact not nice at all. In fact, I would actually advise completely against it. The smaller pieces went right through the mesh and it just honestly made a huge entire mess. Thankfully, it was only a mess on my little tray, but man, when I put it into the aquarium, it really messed things up in there. So yeah, I would definitely advise on using regular aquatic soil, not the one with the smaller granule pieces. So, first things first, since the other one didn't work, we're gonna use this one. This one has, if you look, the pieces are, whoopsie, there we go, way bigger, and hopefully when I use the little mesh, they won't fall out like last time. So let's get a little cup going here. We can throw you back. Whoopsie, I guess I can get rid of that. put that in there. So here's the thing about this build, is that none of this actually ends up staying. So what I realized is that I put in way too many little mesh bags in the back. I ended up having to move all the rocks anyway, and the scape actually ended up looking a little bit different than it started. But I figured, you know what? This is a great chance, once again, to be able to show people that, yes, you can make mistakes. You can kind of screw or think you screw things up, but in the end, they actually always, almost always, let's just preface that with that, but they pretty much almost always end up turning out way better than you anticipated, even when you think things are going absolutely wrong. The next part is a little tough to watch. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little painful. Only because I really truly thought that this plant would really work on wrapping around the wood. I should have left it, I didn't. But again, just one of those extra little times where you get to learn things from someone else. Not everything goes perfect, as you can tell. Things do start going a little awry. And yeah, it's a little disaster. Okay, so it's been a couple days, a lot of different rocks, a lot of moving stuff around and re-gluing, but I think we're ready to finish her up today. So I know I want to add a couple more plants in here. There's a big Anubias I have, and yeah, and then we're gonna fill her up. So another thing that I need to add is I need to cover the wood with something. I still haven't quite exactly figured out what I want to do with it, but yeah. So far, I'm quite happy with the way that it turned out. So after 2 painstaking weeks of letting the tank cycle, it was finally time to go to the fish store. I knew I wanted some Pygmy Cories. I have a couple in one of my tanks and they're super cute, the right size and just the greatest little cleaners. And keeping with the cleaning crew theme, the other little critter I was going to get were some shrimp. Well, it didn't quite go according to plan, because as I was walking down the aisles at the fish store, I spotted these little guys, and I immediately knew I needed to have them. These little African Dwarf Frogs were now my new obsession. So after spending way too much time at the fish store asking a million questions, I finally got my little guys home. I left the lights turned off and let them climatize. I don't have any footage of it, but I also opened the bags and spent about half an hour slowly adding the existing aquarium water to the bags before taking them out and adding them to the tank. I figured if it works for helping shrimp, why not do it for the mini cories and froggos too? While Tucker and Candace got settled into their new home, it was time to add the little cories. As always, if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, I do have an Amazon store you can check out, where you'll find a lot of what I use in my videos. And don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. The YouTube overlords love that. I already started on my next tank, so you won't want to miss that. Okay, bye!